How is everybody doing? This is LA Kid with another Tale from the Vault of Would You Dare? We talk about everything supernatural, extraterrestrial, ultra-dimensional, UFOs, alien serial killers, demonic possessions, all of the above, right? I hate doing lives, but I have to do it this way because I think every time I try to use my GoPro just to present this piece of information that I received, it goes uh, it goes dark. It'll say the battery needs to be charged, and that can't be. Say your GoPro turned itself off during the previous session because it ran out of battery life. As you can see, if you look very carefully there, you should see about 40% battery life, and the other day had 50% battery life. So I'm just not really understanding what's going on with this bad boy. And it keeps shutting off. And trying to present this information, even had my watch drained. Not trying to convince anybody, just telling you how it goes. But I talked to an associate of mine, David Wolf. David does some really good stuff. It's called Exposing the Strange. He does some really good work. You guys check him out. But more importantly, there's been an uptick in UFO activity in Texas. Everything from strange beings walking around to stuff in the sky, which I actually captured about a month ago. Only got 35 seconds of it, and then the camera shuts down. I don't get it. Just telling you what I've seen and what I've gone through trying to get things out there. Every time I go out, I don't always experience something, but a lot of times there's quite a few times that I've actually caught things online or through the videos. So let me get to this, okay? Let me show you a couple of clips, all right? Show you a couple of clips. All right, now this guy's going to use some pretty powerful language. Drop a couple of F-bombs, okay? But you guys just bear with me on that, okay? So this is him. This is what he saw, okay? Not going to be on here too long, but this is what he saw.
What the absolute fuck am I looking at right now?
Right in that area.
What the hell? Holy shit.
Are you okay?
No, dude. What is that, chat?
So there they are in real time. Well, there they are in real time.
What the fuck? Oh my god, I think it's the end. I think it's the end. I've never seen that in my life. Oh my god. What, bro, what the fuck is that shit?
Oh my gosh.
What? I don't know. They're too far apart to be planes. Oh my god. Dude, chat, I think those are aliens. Why are they like that? Like they would never, no plane would be lined like that, like one higher than the.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop him. If I can, let me stop that. And that was Pflugerville, okay?
New mess.
So that was Pflugerville. Let me stop sharing that. That was Pflugerville, Texas, from what I understand. All right. Now this is let me try to pull up what I captured. And I got a video as well, but I'll try to pull up what I captured. Let's see if I can share it. Okay, so this is what I captured, okay? You got to look real hard, but again, you can go back and look at the video, but this is what I captured. All right? right there. I don't know what these three things are here. Maybe just airplanes, right? There's one behind it. There's another one behind it. But there's a lot of weird looking stuff in the sky right now. Like right over here. Now you could see all of these. Okay, so a drone had actually come in on what I was looking at, and then when it had come in, it started the one of the dots. It started flying off, and then the drone was chasing it. It was kind of weird. But then um, over to the left, what I had also witnessed over to the left was um, a red flashing uh, light next to the moon or a star. I believe it was a star because I even said it in the video. But then there was also to the left, those other two, they stayed. They didn't move. They stayed in formation. So, and this is in Texas, right? But then what I want to share with you guys now is uh, what I want to share with you guys now is a story that was sent to me, and I shared it with my man David Wolf. Again, David does some really good work. He's he's one of the few people that you can actually call up and say, hey, well, that I can call up and say, hey, I just witnessed this or I just witnessed that. But let me get to the story of one of the subs that had contacted me. Um, he said around January 31st, 4-ish in the morning, he said that the cops, he saw flashing lights outside of his house, but he was up because he said he couldn't sleep. So he saw flashing lights, which were cops, of course. And on the side of where he lives, there was a cop car here next to his car, and there was a cop car in front, and there was a cop car to the left of it. So he looked out his door and he said, well, he wanted to see what was going on, but he shut his door because he didn't want the cops to think that he was participating in anything that was possibly going on that would make him accountable for whatever happened. And when he did the research, what he had found out was that some guys had robbed a Walmart down the street, and that they were running, and they caught him, and they triangulated and caught them in that area, right? But he said once the cops left and they caught who they were looking for, um, he said he was sitting up looking at TV because he couldn't sleep, and he got the eeriest feeling he said he'd ever had in his life. And what it went down was he said he had the feeling of something opening in his living room. So he looks to the right, he says, and he's trying to figure out what this feeling is. So he tried to shake it off, try to play it off, because he said he's kind of empathic and he's experienced a lot of things before throughout his life. And at this point, he was trying to just make sure that he wasn't hallucinating. He said, but this thing, what was happening in his house, gave him a feeling that he's never had. He said it wasn't supernatural. So it kept lingering and it got stronger. And he said it felt like something opened right up and something walked in. But it didn't walk into the house. It walked outside of the front door. So he was trying to figure out what it was. And it stayed there for about 2 or 3 minutes. He just wasn't thinking, from what he's saying, he wasn't thinking to go out and check on it and see what it was, because it was such an eerie feeling. And he thought it would just pass, because he's experienced so many things like that in his past. So he didn't want to go out there and check that, or double check that, or try to quantify it or verify it. But he said it was the most evil feeling he'd ever had. He said he knows the difference in supernatural spirit realm stuff, but this was like a dimensional rift that opened up and something walked out, but it was walking around the outside of the house. He said once the feeling subsided, he got angry. So he got his gun and he walked through the door, opened the door and looked around outside, and he said he didn't see anything. Again, this is in Texas as well. They say we've been influxed with a lot of alien and UFO activity here lately, and especially here in Texas. So, you know, what's going on? Again, these are just stories that I share sometimes. Um, I tell you, like I said, I contacted David as soon as I got the story, and David is one of the few people that I can actually call and say, hey, this went down this way. Like I said, real solid cat, real good dude. Um, and I've done a couple of interviews. I've done an interview with David a couple of times. Well, an interview. So again, you guys, what's going on out here? All of this disclosure information, all this UFO extra activity that's going on and going down. What's going on, man? Are we being invaded? Because again, this GoPro, when I was trying to do it, it wouldn't work. It had a 56% charge when I tried to do this clip earlier this week, and then the watch also shut down, and it had a full charge, but it shut down as well. So man, I don't know what's going on. But again, I hate doing lives. Really don't like doing lives. Uh, but the only way I can get this story recorded, even my other camera um, was acting kind of funny, but it hasn't acted right since we came back from Bradshaw Ranch and was checking out all that extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional activity that was going on out there. And again, that's stuff I'm still trying to process. But in this scenario, uh, I feel for the dude. I believe him because he seemed pretty shaken up. Because I spoke with him, and he seemed pretty shaken up. Like I said, I try to take notes and try to take my time um, when you guys send in information. So you guys don't hesitate to contact me um, if you have a story that you want to share. Because I'm not going to judge you. Because again, I've seen stuff with my own two eyes, and my job ain't to convince anybody of what's going on. Uh, my job is to simply present the information and keep it pushing. All right. But this has been L.A. Kendrick with another Tale from the Vault of Would You Dare. In the meantime, between time, you guys get a copy of my latest book, Demon Streamer. Very good book, very solid book. And a lot of times what I write about is things that I've seen and experienced. All right. So you guys, check under your cars, check around your cars, check the dark recesses of your home. If you happen to work at late night or to the wee hours of the morning, all right, and look up. Be mindful of your surroundings because you never know what's lurking in the dark and in the sky, waiting to make you a story. And this has been L.A. Kendrick, another Tale from the Vault of Would You Dare. Until next time, you cats, be safe and fill in the rest.